All right, man. I got I got a trivia for you guys, man. I'm gonna kick this off with a quick trivia. I'm gonna say these names, and then I just want y'all to give me the general idea of where these names belong. Like, what are they? All right, so I'm gonna go down these names, and these were from the '90s. You got The Young and the Restless, General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, All My Children, Guiding Light, and Another World.
Soap operas.
Soap operas.
Daytime soap operas.
Soap operas. And that's what the Dallas Cowboys are. It's a soap opera. It's a 360 soap opera, man. Oh my goodness, I don't believe it. This is awesome, man. So, all right, Micah Parsons, everybody's talking about this. Micah Parsons has been traded to the Green Bay Packers. Apparently, Dallas Cowboys receive 2 first-round picks and defensive tackle Kenny Clark. Green Bay Packers acquired Micah Parsons. Contract is reportedly to be 4 years, $88 million, approximately 120 to 136 million guaranteed. I think that kind of equates out to Micah actually 47 million, I think, around per year, and that makes him the highest non-quarterback player paid in the NFL history. So this has been going on, and we've been talking about this. And the thing that is so comical, this comes about 1 week to today that they will be visiting my Philadelphia Eagles to kick off the season, and the Dallas Cowboys do it yet again. And you know what, Doc? I gotta hear from you because you are in Dallas. I mean, you hearing everything that's going on in Dallas, man. This the first time I'm excited to hear anything Dallas. So, Doc, talk to me, man. Talk to me.
So as soon as I jump in the car from work, that's the first thing I heard. Micah Parsons. Turn on the radio. Micah Parsons has been traded, right? And then it was just like the whole when Doncic got traded. This is not a joke. I repeat, Micah Parsons has been traded. And the only reason the city ain't freaked out as much as it otherwise would be is because they're still dealing with the ramifications of the Luka Doncic trade, right? So like, okay, well, I mean, that's what happened. Yeah, Dallas fans are upset to say the least because it is probably the team's best player who hasn't quite hit his prime yet getting jettisoned, right? That they had a deal, but they don't have a deal, and then it's enough to, yeah. So a week before the season starts with a brand new head coach, how does Schottenheimer feel right now? Yeah, we was going to visit with him and talk about the table incident and laying on the table, and now he ain't got to talk about it no more because he gone someplace else. Now, as a Minnesota Vikings fan, I am terribly upset. I hate this trade because our quarterback got to face Micah Parsons twice a year. So from that standpoint, I don't like Jerry Jones for making the trade. I don't like the Green Bay Packers for making the trade. It doesn't bode well for the Vikings. This one has me worried. But from a football standpoint, from a soap opera standpoint, Jerry Jones never ceases to amaze us because I figured there was something was going to happen between the last game of the preseason and the start of the regular season. But I thought there's no way that this dude is going to trade Micah Parsons. There's absolutely no. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Well, Lee, I wanna hear what you saying, man, because this Skip Bayless was just saying that he says Micah Parsons can't stop the run. Micah Parsons is a pass rusher, right? So he's not really even stopping the run. But he blamed the whole last season on Micah Parsons. Skip Bayless. I don't even know if Skip Bayless still got a show on ESPN, but I do know that he is so happy that Micah Parsons is gone that, I mean, he said he thinks that the Dallas Cowboys are actually going to be better off without Micah Parsons in Dallas. So this is just another notch in the Cowboys belt. This is another thing for the NFC East for us to really enjoy and laugh about, especially us Eagles fans. But one thing I was listening to, Doc, they said already, and you know now since he's coming to Green Bay in your division, they already put Green Bay in the Super Bowl. I mean, what's your thoughts on that? Like them already, I was watching ESPN and they already put Green Bay in the Super Bowl just with Micah Parsons.
That's a stretch. I think to say, hey, we have Green Bay in the playoffs, Yeah, I think that's a solid prediction now, right?
Yeah.
Hey, we have Green Bay potentially winning the NFC North. As much as it pains me to say it, I can't argue with somebody if they would put Green Bay ahead of Minnesota and ahead of Detroit. Now, I'd put the Vikings first, but of course, I'm a Vikings fan, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but when you're dealing with those other two teams in the NFC North, whoever comes out the NFC South, you're talking about the Rams, you're talking potentially about the 49ers maybe making a resurgence, and you got to deal with the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Commanders. That's a stretch.
Yeah,
That's a big stretch.
yeah.
And realize, yes, the Packers made the playoffs. Yes, Micah Parsons had a really good year last year, but Micah Parsons with the Cowboys did not make the playoffs last year.
That's correct.
So I'm not sure he makes them go from a playoff caliber team to a Super Bowl attending team,
Right.
but he does make the Packers better. Like, yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
that's obvious.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I agree with you. I agree. I definitely think that he makes the Packers better. They were talking about him in this trade being sort of like a Reggie White trade when he left the Eagles and went over to Green Bay. And I think that's they were saying in the first 4 years of each of Reggie White and Micah Parsons, they've been in double digit sacks. Their first 4 years in the league. Granted, I give you that. A good pass rusher. However, I can't put you quite there on the Reggie White level.
yeah.
I'm not gonna put you there. I can't put you there. I can't put you where Reggie White is. Now, is he going to make them better? Yes, he's going to make them better. They are going to be a better team. Super Bowl? Y'all gotta be crazy. I don't you can't just get eliminated in the first round of the playoffs, and now with the addition of Micah Parsons, you go into the Super Bowl. Come on, man. Yeah, they losing it. They losing it.
Also realize this, right? So you got Jordan Love making 55 mil a year,
Mm,
and now you got Micah Parsons making 47 mil a year, right?
yeah.
So you have the salary cap somewhere around 270. I want to say 270, 280. You got two players that taken up more than a third of salary cap
Right.
just off the bat. Now,
Yeah.
they have the space to do it, right? But how many other really good players do the Packers have? Now, if you're saying you got a really good, solid team, and those two are your linchpins, I'm not sure that's going to work against Detroit if Detroit's old school Detroit, and it's going to work against Philadelphia because y'all trying to run the ball first. So Micah's not going to be as effective as Micah would be against pass happy teams. That's just right. So yeah.
Lee, so what's your take on this, man? What's your take on this?
There's a lot to unpack here, right? So I watched the press conference with Jerry and Steven, his son, and Jerry, forever the salesman, right? He really spun it, and he came from an angle of the team. So you have in one aspect, of course, you have a fantastic play in Micah Parsons, and everybody was expecting him to get signed by the Cowboys. He was due. That's just how things should have gone. But Jerry came from an angle of, look, we needed to think from a team aspect and look at some of the holes that we had that was existing for a couple of years, right? One, he emphasized the run defense. And the Cowboys, they've been notoriously bad in that aspect. I think teams were averaging 139 yards a game rushing on them. The Eagles, your Eagles links, 170 plus last year.
Yeah.
For those two games. So he came from that angle, and he also delved a little bit into, not a little bit, he talked a lot about the nuance of the conversations that he was having with Micah and how it kind of spun out of control. He alluded to the fact that they had multiple conversations about the money. And he got to a point, and I think his stopping point was, 41 million a year. I think that still would have made him at that time the highest paid defensive player, non-quarterback in the league. And that was his stopping point. And I think what happened with Jerry was that he felt like he was being bamboozled. Not that he probably wouldn't have gone higher, but I think what happened, it was the communication style on his team or his agent. Because after he had those conversations and he had that stopping point, mind you, Stephen, he passed it on to his son as well, and he kind of carried it along to kind of iron out what those particulars were going to be from a money aspect. And then the agent was going to come in and fill in all the particulars, right?
Yeah.
But when the agent came in, the agent wanted to start the negotiation all over from scratch, from the bottom, right? From ground zero. And that's when Jerry was like, you know what, we're not going to do that. Because now you say you're going to start it all over, but that starting point is going to be where I just ended. So now he was at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
And that's how everything kind of broke down. That's how we explained it. That's how it kind of broke down. He didn't show any sort of malice or any sort of negativity towards Micah.
Yeah.
He actually said that that was a pretty good strategy on their part. Like, I mean, it was pretty smart.
Yeah.
Again, he's a businessman. He does these things, right? These are deals, and you got to game, respect, game, right? So outside of that, he also alluded to the fact that he was considering trading Micah from spring, from before the draft. It was an internal conversation that they were having because he knew that if this was to get flipped, that they could get a lot of potential prospects from it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so they were having that internal conversation. They discussed it, but when they entered into those conversations with Micah, per Jerry, it was all in good faith. It wasn't until it kind of broke down, with whatever happened between him and the agent telling him not to talk to Micah anymore, and then saying that we want to start all over. Jerry wasn't going to do that, and he was still talking to Micah on the field, and we saw clips of that, during training camp, them two having conversations. Again, no ill will. But I want to talk about one thing, and I wonder if this also has something to do with it, because I read something from a reporter for the NFL Network, Jane Slater, and she covers the Cowboys. I think Doc, you probably heard
Yes.
of her over there, right?
Yep.
And I think she covers the Saints as well. But in her report, she said that she spoke to several coaches in the Cowboys organization, even outside the Cowboys organization, and there's some murmurs out there that thinks that Micah really doesn't love football the way that they feel that he should for someone of his caliber. And I wonder if his affinity towards the podcasting work, that part of the business, that part of what he does, if that is kind of eked into some of the sourness that the Cowboys probably felt, if they were even entertaining in earnest trading him during the spring. So I'll put it this way. If I'm an NFL owner and I'm looking to pay someone, right? Yes, I would do everything I can to get Mike in, right? But I would still have some misgiving. I'm like, what is he doing? Like, the time that he's spending in this forum, I would want him to be concentrating more on football, especially if I'm going to be paying him top dollar for it.
Absolutely.
Right? But that's not his thing. And who's to say that is actually causing him not to perform at a high level? I mean, he's still, Micah Parsons. He led leading league in sacks all, over the past couple of years. High performer, a little bit of an injury history, not too much, but no one is going to look at him and say that he's not worth the money. So, I mean, look, I think Dallas actually they're getting a lot out of this.
Yeah.
The next couple of drafts are going to be pretty loaded with talent.
Yeah.
Packers win in this as well, and Micah wins. So I don't really think there's a loser in all of this.
Yeah.
Unless the Cowboys totally bomb on all of their picks going forward.
Yeah.
Couple of things on that, Lee. So the podcast Micah got, right?
Mm-hmm.
He had Cowboy stuff all over that. And with
Yep.
the first few years, Jerry had no problem with that podcast because there's another way for the Cowboys to get their reach, right?
Right.
And so now all of a sudden it's like, well, I don't know, he's not as focused on football as he should be. Well, you was allowing it, right?
Right.
As both GM and owner, because it was benefiting the business. Now you want to talk football, all of a sudden that football thing is supreme. From a numbers standpoint, and I think we've hinted at this, right? It was like we know Michael was going to get close to $40 million a year, right?
Right.
With Dak making 60, CeeDee Lamb making I think 34, and they signed Odigizua for like 20 mil. They done over 100 something, so that was going to be like almost half the team if they signed Micah, half the salary cap going to 4 people, right? So just similar to when the Chiefs traded away Tyreek Hill, because like, hey, based on the numbers, it's just going to be tight for us. There's an aspect to it numbers wise where it's like, hey, that $37 million we could use for some other players, and we can't be so top heavy that if any of them gets hurt, we're done, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I think Micah, from a money standpoint, Micah wins. I mean, 37 mil is pretty impressive for a non-quarterback. It's never been done, right? But he's in Green Bay.
Right.
And for a media savvy person,
that's not going to work.
If
That's
there was
not gonna
any aspect to this where Jerry was being vindictive,
Yeah.
I'm going to send you to the least media friendly team in the National Football League. You will have Jordan Love on your podcast and talk about what happened, how y'all beat us. You can go join him. You can go join him in Green Bay. Right?
I was going to get into that, Doc, because I mean, I also wonder what percentage of his audience on his podcast are Cowboys fans, and I would think that it would be a sizable amount. Over a period of time now, him playing with the Packers, within the next year or two, he's going to see a considerable amount of attrition.
Yep.
Based on that aspect, especially if next year the Cowboys find themselves in a position where they can get themselves an Arch Manning.
Arch Manning.
Somebody
there we go.
That, right? Yeah. So
there we go.
Everything is out the it's out the window. So
Austin's only 3 hours from Dallas.
Yep. So the long game here, I'm gonna reserve all judgment on the Cowboys and Jerry, and I'm gonna wait because they got a lot of picks, and they can flip those picks to get a higher pick. They can flip those picks to get another player. They have a lot at their disposal that they can do, and for all intents and purposes, yes, Mike is a fantastic player, but they weren't winning any playoff games with him.
No,
right?
This is one of the most amazing organically tanking. If they tank, if they go 5-12, 6-11, and especially if the Packers don't have a good year this year or next year, depending on what happens with Arch Manning, they got 2 first-round picks in 2026 and 2 first-round picks in 2027, just in case.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
just in case Arch goes back for a senior year. So, yeah.
Let me tell you something. I wish they would have kept him. I wish they would have kept him, man.
You'll talk right there. You're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
I wish they would have kept him because they would have lose anyway. They would have still been losing, so it don't matter. So I wish they would have kept him because now, like you are saying, they got leverage.
There's a chance to make it good.
They got leverage, man. I'm dealing with if I'm gambling, I'm putting that on Micah. Come on, you need to stay with Dallas. Stay with Dallas.
It's twofold, two links. One, you're right. They got leverage. The potential to get better has now escalated.
That's right.
They weren't going to get any better than they were last year signing Micah.
Right.
They would have been the same team plus George Pickens.
That's right. That's right.
That's it. Right?
Yeah.
Same team plus George Pickens.
Yeah.
Now, within the next year to 2 years, 3 years, they could get significantly better if they play their cards right, if they make the right picks.
Right.
Okay? Now, outside of that, you also have the Green Bay Packers situation. Green Bay has gotten significantly better.
Yeah.
And they are now a threat within the NFC to challenge Eagles, Rams, Lions, Commanders, right? They're up there. So it's all around. It's I don't like it.
Yeah,
I would have like you. I would have rathered Micah just stayed right there with the Cowboys
absolutely.
as a Ram fan. I wish he had just stayed.
Yeah, yeah. Could
We
be
would have kept. We would have just kept beating them, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, look, to me, and this is just my opinion. The losers in this is Green Bay. The losers in this is Green Bay. You know why? Because Micah isn't going to play week 1. Okay, he needs to get in shape. Micah isn't going to play probably week 2. You got some big games.
Right.
Micah may play week 3. May play week 3. Round there. I could see him making his debut week 3. And guess what? If it is true what Skip Bayless said that great pass rusher and he can get there, but he tends, if you put a big boy that chipping him and he get chipped a couple of times, then he don't have any more energy. He done. And now the Packers are, I mean, yes, they've got better on paper, but it's all up to Micah. If Micah does not translate to this amount of money, I mean, it's more likely that the Green Bay Packers actually lost if Micah Parsons does not pan out. And I'm not saying he's not going to pan out. I think he'll be all right. However, that's a great risk. So what they are initially saying, because the Packers never used to do this kind of trade picking a receiver in the first round, and now you doing a trade like this, getting rid of 2 first-round picks. This is unheard of in Green Bay, right? I mean, this is unheard of, and so they are making some gambles because I think internally they are saying, we want to win right now. This is our best window to win right now, and we're gonna go get Micah Parsons because we want to win right now. That's a big gamble. Hey, you got to do this in sports. You got to do this. So they're rolling the dice and they expect this thing to happen. But I think they could be bigger losers if it doesn't pan out. And Dallas, again, like we say, it doesn't matter what happens. Jerry Jones always wins.
Right. Going back to the Packers, though, they could also do this because they're one of the youngest teams in the league.
Yeah.
Right? They don't have a lot of old veterans on there. So they could forego the next two drafts, right? Because everyone there, you got like a whole bunch of rookies, first and second rounders.
Mhm.
Right. Rams did that just a couple of years ago.
True.
Right. So it's a gamble on their part, but it's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
To Lincoln's point, Micah's going to be good. Is he going to be $37 million a year good? Right. That's
Yeah.
the question.
47.
Oh, sorry. My bad. 47. $47 million a year good. All right.
Yeah.
And how's he going to do in December?
Woo. He been playing in that dome, man.
Going to Chicago.
Well, he played in Penn State. He played in cold weather. He came from that area, so it shouldn't be that much. That it shouldn't be jarring for him. I can see if he came from California and then went to Dallas, something like that. But he's a cold weather guy.
Green Bay ain't no joke, boy. Green Bay ain't no joke. But yeah. I definitely could see that. And you made this point, Lee. He's not. I mean, Green Bay is not a media mecca at all. So he'll be doing his podcast from the condo there with negative 18 degrees. So I mean, good luck, Micah. Good luck in Green Bay, man. But hey, look. Bottom line is, I really wished he would have stayed, man. I really wish he would have stayed because it definitely would have been good for the Eagles.
Yeah, and Lions fans, Bears fans, Vikings fans, they don't like this.
Don't like this trade at all.
They don't like this. Nope. It's not good. It's not good for the North.
No.
Not good for the North. So
nope.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. We definitely will see big news tonight with Micah Parsons, man. It's going to be like we said. This is shaping up to be a great season. I mean, a lot of things happening, man. A lot of things happening. This was big. These storylines all over the place. A lot of these. I think these first 5 weeks, because I know these schedules are jam packed and they're tight. In these first 5 weeks, it's going to be shaken out. We're gonna see who's the juggernauts from who's the pretenders in this first 5 weeks right here. So. All right, man.
Yep.
All right. Well, we shall see.
All right.
All right.
Season starts next week.
Yep.
Can't wait.
Can't wait, man.
Sounds good. Looking forward
right.
to it. All right.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.